ago, before, you know, the entire world was against Trump's administration because of the war with Iran, even though they should have been from the fucking get-go.
Americans concerned about affordability ahead of the midterms. There is some backlash among Senate Republicans to some of the other priorities, the ballroom and the anti-weaponization fund. You clearly still have a strong hold on the Republican Party. Your candidates did very well this week during the primaries, but are you losing control?
My candidates did well. Not all candidates did well.
But are you losing control of the Senate, sir? Are you losing control of the Senate Republican?
I don't.
That question is beyond frustrating. The president should have zero influence over the Senate. Granted, obviously, that's not how life works, but the Senate and the president have to keep, like, do we forget what separation of powers means? Do we just forget what that means on a day-to-day basis?
No, I really don't know. I can tell you, I only do what's right.
Well, Trump got in an argument. Trump faced pointed criticism over Iran war on Wednesday in a closed-door meeting with fellow Republicans. Shortly before, his administration asked Congress for tens of billions of dollars to pay for the conflict. Senate Republicans in a closed-door meeting said Trump engaged in a shouting match with Senator Bill Cassidy, who the administration needs to explain a framework of a deal Trump signed last week that provides financial incentives for Iran, but does not accomplish any of the goals he laid out with the war's beginning. The American people need to know more than what we're being told. It does not appear, although I don't know for sure, that the course is going the way we were told. The high-volume exchange with a member of Trump's own party was another example of how the war is waiting on Trump at a November elections that will determine control of Congress. Yep. This is happening a lot faster than I initially thought it would when Trump got reelected. I didn't think this would happen this fast, but the war with Iran kind of jump-started the eventual fall of the Republican Party. The Republican Party is going to fracture. I don't see any future where the Republican Party doesn't fracture into Trump loyalists and Republicans, like the Trump Party. Trump has talked about having a Trump Party before. It wouldn't be surprising. And if he dies, oh my God, every Republican who's like, oh yeah, Trump is a piece of shit, versus every Republican who like sucks his dick nonstop, oh my God, voters will be so split. The initial accord between the U.S. and Iran has lifted Iran's chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, allowing traffic to flow again through the waterway that's previously handled a fifth of global oil and liquefied natural gas supplies. Benchmark oil prices fell on Wednesday, lowest levels since before the war started. Okay. Oh, and let me finish that point, because remember, people said Hitler did the right thing for generations after Nazi Germany fell. For generations. They literally had to die out before stopping support of Hitler. Hitler supporters had to die out. Yeah, so Trump canceled signing of a bill.
He's canceling the bill signing for the housing bill that you all were just talking about. He said he's canceling it until the SAVE Act is passed.
He's holding legislation hostage because no Republican wants to support SAVE Act anymore. Why are you in my left ear only? This shit's pissing me off.
Yeah, my reaction is, the truth of the matter, I spoke to the president for 20 minutes before I went in and gave that rousing speech to the House Republicans this morning.
Oh, stop jerking yourself off, Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson, you're gonna end up in hell. Fuck you.
The priority and the preference of the Save America Act, we share that. We passed it 3 times in the House.
And it's an evil bill that would fuck pretty much every part of American legislation, American democracy.
The latest version was passed a few months ago, and it has proof of citizenship to register to vote, and the proof of showing a photo ID when you show up to vote.
Republicans have been wanting this ever since black people have been able to vote, by the way. Ever since black people have been able to vote, and I'm saying Republicans, conservatives. Yeah, you could say, oh, Lincoln was Republican. Don't be a fucking retard. You know what I mean.
Basic issues that 90% of Americans agree. 70% of Democrats think you ought to have a photo ID to vote. And
dumbest thing on earth, by the way.
Citizenship to vote in an American election is already in the law. But we have to enforce it because you got a few blue states that don't do that.
There's not a single piece of evidence showing high voter turnout for non-citizens.
President believes in election
Potato,
integrity.
tomato.
He talks about it all the time, and we do as well. In act and deed, we have.
By the way, voter ID only hurts like black and brown people, pretty much. It is much easier to get a new license and ID as a white person. It is much easier to get proof of citizenship as a white person. It is much easier to vote as a white person than a black or brown person.
Stood for that. We passed the Save America Act again. Here's this. Let me finish this. This is very important. That is the top priority, because if you do not have safe elections in this grand experiment in self-governance that we have in a constitutional republic, you don't have anything. And we got to ensure it. We have to press for election integrity measures. That's why we've made it a top priority. It has been stuck in the Senate, and here's why. Because no Democrat in the House or Senate will vote for the Save America Act. Those two things I just told you, they vote against that.
Wait, we're picking fights with we're Senate Republicans? Oh my God, man! Every Republican's so fucking stupid.
Every single time, and they will. Why? You ask that. That's a rhetorical question. You should go ask them the actual question. Why? Are you against proof of citizenship and a photo ID? Why is that?
Yeah. Yes.
Can't give you a cogent answer. The reason is they do want to allow for cheating and fraud in the election.
Doesn't happen.
Because it is the only way that the Marxists can win. They cannot win.
This never happened. Not one time has this ever happened. If you don't have a photo ID, proof of address. It is beyond ridiculous that they want to add more legislation on. A lot of Americans don't have photo IDs, especially people who, disabled people who have no means of driving themselves. Why would they need a photo ID? People who live in urban areas where they don't have to drive, a lot of them don't have photo IDs. They got proof of address, but they don't need a photo ID day to day, so they typically don't have one. Or they have one that's expired because they don't have to use it to make their lives livable. Oh, go get one? You know how hard it is to get a new ID? You have to plan months ahead for that. A lot of these people are very poor. They can't just take time off work like that. They are working paycheck to paycheck, day to day. If they miss one day of work, that's less food on the table.
On their ideas. That's why this is so important. The president is to us. So how does that tie into housing? He's laser.
Speaking of Congress, President Trump met privately with Senate Republicans after a stunning decision this morning to cancel the.
Yeah, I don't want to watch CBS for
Honestly,
that.
I always.
Can we shut the fuck up? I moved months ago.
He asked, why would anybody vote for the War Powers Act? As he continued, I said, is that a rhetorical question, or would you like to really know? He said, I'd like to know. I stood and said, you have not told the American people what's going on. It was supposed to last 4 weeks, it's lasted 4 months. Our original objectives have not been achieved. And I want to know.
This guy's pro-war with Iran, by the way. Don't ever, again, we got to make sure we don't ever, off topic, but it's so hot in Washington that I can walk around with barefoot without getting burns. What? Oh, Washington State is warm? God damn. Or you mean DC? I don't know where you live. Anyways, yeah, we got to make sure we don't accidentally ever make friends with enemies like this. No Republican. If you're a Republican senator and you're not completely dropping every single piece of shit rule that you've ever made and apologizing for every piece of legislation that you voted for in favor for hurting American people, I do not want you on my side. I don't. You guys can, like 99% of Republican senators and people who are in Republican elections, see ya. You guys are complicit in this. A lot of Democrats too. Don't get me wrong on that.
What's going on? I can't tell you that's verbatim, because obviously I was speaking. But that's kind of what I've been saying all along. I'm voting for more powers until I get appreciated. At which point, as I recall, he did not particularly care for my comments. Raised his voice. I lost my temper. That's not appropriate.
Yes, it is.
It's just the Irish in me. But
every other constitutional republic has people yelling with each other. That's how you get government done. You yell at each other.
I, again, matched his tone and his vibe, and it went back and forth. But at some point, my guy sitting next to our sit down. And so I sat down. and try to de-escalate. I guess my point is, though, that the American people need to know more than we're being told.
True.
The Senate needs to know. And it does not appear, although I don't know for sure, that the course of this is going the way that we were told. And so I make no apologies for standing up to the president.
The one Republican with a backbone, and you still cannot trust them.
If you will, trying to demand that more information be shared with the Senate and more information be shared with the American people. I make no apologies for that whatever. And if someone tries...
I've been saying this for months. Trump is slipping his control of Republicans constantly.
to bully me into not asking that question, I'm not going to accept that either. I am sticking up for the American people, even if I'm speaking to the president.
When the president raised his voice at you, what did he say? Did he insult you?
You know, something like, you know, what does President Trump say? You know, oh, you lost the election, that sort of thing. You know, whatever, you know, comes to mind as to demean another person.
He said that to you?
Sooner or later he did. I can't really tell you everything he did. Which of course I lost the election. You know, way to observe that. You pulled that one out.
But he mentioned that you lost the election. I mean, he campaigned against you.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Sir,
Yeah.
he mentioned that you lost the election directly to you.
You sound surprised.
Yeah, I would be surprised too if I didn't realize that the Trump was a blabbering retard with a goddamn adult diaper on all the time.
Does that factor into, I mean, you feel a little more, if you feel a little more emboldened to speak more directly to the
Call him a fucking rapist, please.
president because of that?
I am sticking up for the American people. I actually, if the president and his team shares with the Senate and the House and shares with the American people what is going on, then that satisfies my demand. But if you say everything's fine, but on the outside it doesn't look like everything's fine, it is my responsibility to the people of the United States to ask for answers. And if someone tries to bully me to say, wait a second, because I am whatever I am, I'm going to bully you, I ain't going to put up with that. Because I'm sticking up for my people, if you will. In this case, the American people.
Yerp. Oh, you don't hate them enough. I don't hate them enough. Jesus, man. And then Trump cut fucking food stamps, by the way. On top of that, Trump cut food stamps again. I have a friend who's on food stamps, and holy shit. God damn. Republican states are fucked. Yeah. He's gonna lose. Republicans are gonna lose so fucking hard in the midterms. Because this country is on the rapid decline. And you only blame one party, the party in control.